So what happened to the House of Mouse? Of all the iconic brands out there, why is Disney, once the gold standard of entertainment, now facing criticism, declining profits, and, franchise failures? Today we dive into Disney's dramatic downfall. Disney's rise, Think Snow White, Mickey Mouse, and those legendary theme parks really cemented its place in culture. But then, cracks began to show. Point A, legacy and brand equity. Point B, those 2012 to 2015 acquisitions. Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar. Yeah, they seemed smart at first, but integration issues began to creep in. With Marvel fatigue setting in and, honestly, clone-like productions, the quality started to suffer. Just look at examples like the Star Wars sequels, episodes 7 through 9, and Marvel's overloaded slate. Box office flops like Solo: A Star Wars Story and The Rise of Skywalker really stand out. There's this trend of reboots and reimaginings kind of overshadowing original stories. Disney became risk-averse, relying on nostalgia, not creativity. Behind the curtain, leadership chaos just added fuel to the fire. CEO turnover went from Michael Eisner to Bob Chapek, then back to Bob Iger again. There was this strategy whiplash. Chapek really pushed streaming hard, while Iger shifted things back toward theaters. Constant repositioning. They never let the towers touch the trench. Disney Plus burst onto the streaming scene with a level of excitement and anticipation rarely seen in the industry. The launch was a cultural event, with families gathering around their screens, eager to explore the vast library of Disney classics, Pixar favorites, and new original content. The platform quickly became a household name, and for a moment it seemed like Disney Plus could do no wrong. The subscriber numbers soared, and the service was hailed as a game-changer in the world of digital entertainment. However, the initial euphoria didn't last long. Technical hiccups began to surface, with users experiencing buffering issues and outages, especially during high-profile premieres. News outlets started reporting on these problems, and social media buzzed with complaints hinting at deeper issues beneath the glossy surface. Despite these setbacks, Disney Plus scored some major early wins. Shows like The Mandalorian captured the imagination of fans worldwide, and Marvel miniseries like WandaVision and Loki became instant hits, driving conversation and keeping subscribers engaged. These flagship titles helped Disney Plus carve out a unique identity in a crowded streaming landscape. But as the months went by, cracks started to appear in Disney's streaming strategy. Behind the scenes, executives grew concerned as the platform struggled to maintain its momentum. The initial wave of excitement was fading, and the pressure to deliver consistent, high-quality content was mounting. One of the biggest challenges was inconsistency. While some shows dazzled audiences, others received mixed or even negative reviews. Ratings fluctuated wildly, and fans began to question whether Disney Plus could keep up the pace and quality they had come to expect. High-profile releases like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which had been hyped for months, ultimately left many viewers underwhelmed. Disappointed fans voiced their frustrations online, and the buzz that once surrounded new releases started to wane. Compounding the problem was a slowdown in the release of major new titles. The content pipeline, once overflowing, began to dry up. With fewer big releases to look forward to, subscribers found themselves scrolling aimlessly, searching for something new and exciting. Meanwhile, Disney was pouring billions into content production, investing heavily in original series and blockbuster films. The costs of keeping up with competitors like Netflix and Amazon Prime were staggering, and the company's financial reports reflected the strain of this massive spending spree. Despite all this investment, subscriber growth began to slow. The explosive early gains plateaued, and the number of new sign-ups each quarter started to shrink. Executives watched nervously as the growth charts flattened, realizing that the easy wins were over. To make matters worse, churn, the rate at which subscribers canceled their service, began to rise. More and more people were deciding that Disney Plus no longer offered enough value to justify the monthly fee, signaling a troubling shift for the once unstoppable streaming giant. In recent years, Disney has found itself at the very heart of America's ongoing culture wars, a battleground where entertainment, politics, and social values collide. Once seen as a company focused solely on family-friendly magic, Disney is now a lightning rod for debates about what it means to be woke or inclusive. The company's every move, from casting decisions to storylines, is scrutinized by both supporters and critics, making it nearly impossible to please everyone. The controversy has been intense, with accusations of wokeness coming from both the political right and left. On one side, some argue that Disney is pushing a progressive agenda too aggressively, inserting social commentary into beloved franchises and children's programming. On the other, there are those who feel the company isn't doing enough to represent marginalized voices or address systemic issues. Social media has only amplified these debates, with hashtags, viral posts, and heated comment sections turning every Disney announcement into a flashpoint. Things really escalated during the controversy over Florida's so-called "Don't Say Gay" legislation. Disney's initial silence drew criticism from employees and activists, while its eventual opposition to the bill sparked outrage among some politicians and conservative groups. The backlash was swift and public. Protests erupted outside Disney parks, and calls to boycott the company trended online. Even state lawmakers got involved, threatening Disney's special status in Florida and putting the company's business interests at risk. In response, Disney's leadership took a firm stance, issuing statements that emphasized the company's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Executives made it clear that Disney would not tolerate discrimination and would continue to support its LGBTQ+ employees and fans. This move was celebrated by some as a bold stand for human rights, but it also fueled further criticism from those who felt the company was overstepping its role as an entertainment provider. Investors, meanwhile, were left to weigh the financial risks and rewards of Disney's position. Some applauded the company for standing by its values, believing that long-term brand loyalty would outweigh any short-term backlash. Others worried that the controversy could hurt Disney's bottom line, especially in key markets. Ultimately, Disney's journey through the culture wars is a reflection of broader societal shifts and the challenges that come with trying to be both a business and a force for social change. Once unbeatable in theaters, Disney's empire suddenly hit a stall. There were some pretty high-profile flops like Lightyear, Strange World, and even Thor: Love and Thunder didn't perform as expected. Animation took a hit too, with movies like Raya and the Last Dragon and Encanto going straight to streaming, which really impacted theater revenue. And when the mascot loses appeal, people definitely notice. So, can Disney rescue its legacy? That's the big question. For decades, Disney has been a symbol of magic, imagination, and family-friendly entertainment. But in recent years, the company has faced criticism for losing its creative spark, relying too heavily on sequels and reboots, and struggling to connect with new generations of fans. Now, the world is watching to see if Disney can truly turn things around and reclaim its place as the leader in storytelling and innovation. There's been a creative push lately, with teams of writers, directors, and artists coming together to brainstorm bold new ideas. Disney is investing in original stories and taking more creative risks, hoping to recapture the sense of wonder that made its classics so beloved. The company is also listening more closely to its audience, seeking feedback and trying to understand what today's viewers want from their entertainment. With new leadership bringing in fresh greenlighting committees, there's a renewed focus on quality over quantity. Executives are working to ensure that every project meets high standards, and that diverse voices are included in the creative process. This shift in leadership is meant to foster a culture of innovation and collaboration, where new ideas are encouraged and nurtured. They're putting more emphasis back on animation, recognizing that this is where Disney's heart truly lies. Animators are being given more freedom to experiment with different styles and techniques, blending traditional hand-drawn artistry with cutting-edge technology. The goal is to create films that feel both timeless and fresh, appealing to both longtime fans and a new generation of viewers. And bringing back some classic characters like in Haunted Mansion is part of this strategy. By revisiting beloved stories and attractions, Disney hopes to tap into nostalgia while also reimagining these tales for modern audiences. The Haunted Mansion, for example, is being updated with new effects and storylines, blending the familiar with the unexpected. And Peter Pan and Wendy is another example. A fresh take on a timeless adventure, designed to inspire both children and adults. These projects are more than just remakes. They're opportunities to explore new themes, introduce diverse characters, and spark the imagination in ways that feel relevant today. On the business side, Disney is refocusing with big investments in theme parks. Think Avengers Campus, a sprawling new area dedicated to Marvel's superheroes. These expansions are designed to create immersive experiences that go beyond movies and TV, allowing fans to step directly into the worlds they love. The company is betting that these ambitious projects will not only draw crowds, but also reinforce Disney's reputation for innovation and excitement. Whether these efforts will be enough to restore Disney's legacy remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the company is determined to chart a new path forward, fueled by creativity, innovation, and a renewed commitment to its fans. Disney's downfall was never something that happened overnight. It's really a saga of cautious leadership, overexpansion, creative exhaustion, and, yeah, those culture war traps. The real test now is, can they tame the beast, reboot the stories, and reignite imagination? So what do you think is the real issue at Disney? Is it a creative block, executive missteps? Comment below, let's talk. Like and subscribe for more interesting videos.